It is the Sports Fix here on Flow FM, and let's check in now with our next guest. We've got to talk great Flinders Footy, and look, it's not very often you can go to a country reserves game and see two goats going at it. Well, we may have seen that on the weekend. Our next guest only answers the phone now if you refer to him as the goat. That's Chris Prime. He joins me on the line. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks, Regan. Yes, I think I've changed my name just to Billy.
Billy?
Just to make it easy, so...
Well, don't be a hero.
Yeah.
I noticed you were trotting around. We're referring, of course, to the article in the Advertiser that just named you as the GOAT in country footy terms. Interesting article. Having a look at some of the great goal kickers in country footy history. Big Timsy down there in the southeast. You would have followed his goings-on, I'm sure, over time.
Oh, look, I think he's got it all over me. If you can star in a West End ad, I reckon that sort of takes the cake. That's taken it above and beyond the footy side.
Oh, the great man. Whale, as he's affectionately known down there. He kicked a few at his time. Not quite as many as you, Primey, and you're still going.
Yeah, it's some of them aren't as silly as me, probably. But yeah, look, it's an interesting article, but you have records and they're there for someone to beat, and there'll be someone along the way that will, they'll give it a nudge.
Yeah, Genius Gene's still kicking around, and he was in that article as well. But hey, let's talk about that game in the reserves first before we have a look at the A-grade results. You're out there strolling around against an Olympic gold medalist. I guess we talked about this last week. It's something you never thought would have been the case. I wasn't sure he was going to turn up, to be honest, but he did. He went out there and had a run around with his brother and left a bit of a mark on everyone.
Look, he did, and I guess that's one thing we talked about last week, whether he would and the risk. And I guess what we didn't talk about is the draw of playing with family. I've had the luxury of playing with both my brothers, and Jackson and Kyle hadn't played footy together, and it was an opportunity. So I understand that draw, and some family overrides a lot of things. And we all went into it thinking, oh, geez, here we go. And we walked off the footy field having a chat and a chase, and thought this bloke's a pretty good bloke. Not just an elite athlete, but I talked to him partway through the third quarter, and he goes, "How do you guys do it? I'm absolutely stuffed." I said, "Yeah, it's just as different." And he's talking to me that I run on the oval and I'm stuffed. And I said, "It's just like you can swim all day, and it's pre-season. You get fit. Someone runs into you, and you're knackered, and it's just a different kind of fitness." But like, to his credit, he put in all day, and look, what sort of made my day out of the whole thing was watching him after the game with the kids, like lining up for photos, and never said no. Like, the group of girls with a group photo, then individual photos. Group of the young Colts boys from Tumby had a photo with him. Just smiled and did it all day, and it took him from like being just a good bloke, Olympic medalist, just a absolute role model in how he handled himself throughout the day. Hats off to him. More of a role model than probably a lot of footballers AFL level show. So yeah, I won't take a bad word about him from here on in. Like, he's turned a few negative blokes into, yep, we're Cole Chalmers, we're supporters. So it was a great effort.
Good stuff. It's good to see him getting a chance to play with his brother, first of all, and leaving a mark on blokes I guess it's how you do it, how you conduct yourself out there. I mean, tell you what, it must have been some nervy times for some of your teammates that would have been playing on him because the last thing you want to be known as is the bloke that tackled Kyle Chalmers and did his shoulder or did his knee or something like that. So you Tumby boys did Australia a favour by looking after him.
I don't think there's a few boys. No one held back, and I don't think Kyle did either. It's a game of footy, and it was a pretty hot game of Reggie's footy too. Two undefeated Reggie sides going hard at it, and there was no quarters asked or given. So I'm just glad he got through it unscathed, and majority of everyone else did too.
Yeah, all right. That was the Rezzies, which, by the way, Tumby Bay did win, and Primey, you were held goalless. It wasn't many goals in it, to be fair. So I think your leading goal kicker there at Tumby at the moment only got 2 or 3 himself in a low-scoring affair, I think it's fair to say. It was. I think it was 6 goals to 2, and it was as I said, it was a pretty physical game. Midfield's dominated, and it was just tough all day. We'll come back to your A-grade result in a minute, but first, let's go through them, and we'll start with the close one, which was the Cummins Derby. Now, Ramblers taking on Cougars. There's always a bit of added spice to this one, and it was, in the end, the Cougars boys prevailing by just 5 points, 6-15-51. Ramblers 6-10-46, but this is the one that got away from the Magpies, I think, Primey. They really, after half-time, made all the running. They struggled, though, until the main break.
Look, they did, and I think I tipped Ramblers last week, and just because Cougars haven't been travelling well, and Cougars needed something just to click for them and a bit of luck to go their way, and possibly that this win will kickstart their season, but Ramblers will be bitterly disappointed. Not coming away with the points.
All right. Let's move on to Kaku, where we talk United Yolanda over Lock, 12-18-90. The Roos can only muster up 3-6-24. And when they went into the sheds at half-time, Lock must have been licking their lips thinking, well, they haven't got away from us yet. We're within a couple of kicks. We're a chance here. But, boy, the Eagles whacked on the afterburners after the long break and just blew them to bits.
And I think we talked about this last week. When the Eagles put their foot down for that 10 or 15 minutes, they can just blow a side away. And it's just whether the opposition for that 10 or 15 minutes can hold them and minimise the damage. And most sides can't. You said, they can be in touch at half-time, 15 minutes later the game's over. And it seems to be a bit of a trait. Sides are in the game to half-time. That third quarter, they're up and going, and before you know it, you're looking around and the scoreboard's not really looking that flash for you. So it's going to be a challenge for a lot of sides getting that mix right. You can hold them to half time, but it's just finding that next level to be able to hold them for that next half.
Speaking about blowing a side to bits, Elliston Districts in the A grade against Tumby Bay on Tumby Bay Oval. My mail is that by the time the Rezzies boys had got their selfies and autographs with Kyle Chalmers after the game, after the B grade game, Elliston Districts were about 8 goals in front against Tumby in the A grade clash. Is that about right?
Oh yeah, I think so. I came outside. I saw the first bounce. Tumby went forward, and I think we scored a point in the first couple of minutes. And not sure we got hold of the ball for the next 15. And Elliston Districts just smashed us. And there's not a lot you can do as a backman when there's no pressure on the midfield bringing it forward. And Tumby backman got taught a lesson a little bit, but I think it mainly came from up the field where the midfielders were having that chance to deliver the ball without the real hard pressure on them. So after quarter time, I think there was only 4 goals in it. Tumby changed a couple of things and lifted. Well, they couldn't go much further the other way. And I wonder a little bit if when you're 8 goals to nothing at quarter time, whether subconsciously you sort of just take the foot off the pedal a bit.
Well, they won the second quarter, Tumby, by a point, but it was all a bit too late by then. The game finished up 18-11, 119 to 6-10, 46. So very comfortable winners, Elliston District, but that first quarter, 8 goals to 1 point. You're not going to win too many games from there. And you're not going to win too many games when young Cody Rosalia against you whacks on 7, along with Steve Paul's 4. So between them two, 11 goals between them. They beat Tumby themselves by 5 goals. So there you go.
Yeah, and I think Cody had us covered too. A couple of class forwards, and as I said, like the delivery from the midfield was good. So, I know what it's like as a forward when the delivery's good, and as a backman, there's just not a lot you can do. So, as I said, you've got to have that pressure up the field to try and help your backman out, and if it's not happening, well, yeah, that makes it tough.
Yeah. Well, you get a rest this weekend, your lads. Tumby Bay will have the bye, but let's have a look at who is playing who, and we'll start with Elliston Districts at Minnipa, off to old Westies Districts stomping ground, and it'll be Cummins Ramblers heading up the highway for this one. So the Magpies heading back to the old Tigerland territory there at Minnipa. Elliston Districts will welcome them with open arms and take the points and send them back down the highway.
Oh, look, I think that's the way it will go. Elliston Districts, after looking at their side Saturday, they're going to be pretty tough to beat. And I think they've shown that throughout the year. You know, they've got a really good mix, good defence, good on-ball brigade, and guys up forward that can kick goals. So, I mean, you got those three going, and it takes a lot to stop them. And Ramblers will battle hard, but I think, look, Elliston Districts will get the chocolates with a few goals up their sleeve, I would believe.
All right. Let's head to the Couplex, where we got the grand final replay, albeit two vastly different sides from those that went around on grand final day last year. United Yolana will host Cummins Kapini Cougars, and Cougars only just sneaking over the line against Ramblers last week. Maybe that'll kickstart something. Who knows?
Look, you hope so. Look, they needed to get a win on the board. We were talking last week about staying in touch with the 4, and Saturday will just make it that little bit tougher again. Look, Yolana's going to be hard to beat at any time of the year. So, yeah, I think the Cougar boys will have it pretty hard work out there. I can't see them getting over the line. I reckon Yolana will win reasonably comfortably.
All right. And the last match of the round for us to look at will be Lock hosting E United, who we know is struggling at the moment, the Saints. But Lock, a little bit off the bit last week in their game. They need a win, Lock, and I think they'll get a good percentage boosting one here. They do, and I guess that's what everyone now pencils in. They think, we'll get a bit of percentage. But if you go in with that mindset and if you're not right on the ball, like E United will push it. Like it only takes 5%. You're 5% off, and you think you're going better than what you are, or it's going to be a bit easier. And all of a sudden, you find at quarter time it's pretty tight, and then half time's still tight, and it's hard to turn it around. So you have to bring your A game nearly every week now. So E United will be hoping that Lock don't bring their A game, and they can push them along the way. All right. Well, mate, there you go. It's a big weekend of footy coming up. You won't be a part of it. You'll have the weekend off, which will allow you to get that crop in, I'd imagine.
Yeah, we've got a couple of days left, so whether I do some Saturday, I'll just put my feet up and sit around and do nothing.
Get it all done in advance and enjoy cutout on Saturday.
Well, that might be the other option, but yeah, look, there'll be a few people around that go and play a game of footy for other clubs, so I won't be one of them. So I will probably be either sitting on the tractor or sitting at home quietly.
Fair enough, mate. Well, put the feet up, enjoy the week off. We'll catch up with you next week. Good luck.
Thanks, Regs.